So I have my initial door here. Doorway single. And I'm just going to add a cube. I'm going to make a door and a door frame. I'm going to pretend this is an internal door and it has a, what you call it along the bottom? Skirting board and then a frame. So I'll just make the frame and that'll determine our skirting board height as well. So first I'm going to add a cube. I'm in object mode. Just add a mesh cube. Again, I still have snap on. I'm going to bring this up like I did before. So it's sitting on the ground. And then just apply these transforms. This means that when I scale this down, I'm going to be scaling down to the ground level. Scale this down, down, down. Just enough that it's above, it's going out and beyond. And I could actually probably look at how, yeah. So I'm just going to hide my other assets for the moment. H to hide, shortcut. And I'm just going to turn off snapping for the moment. So I can just nudge this thing in. I'm going to get it more exact on the grid lines in a moment. When you're happy enough with the distance it's giving, I'm going to make that thinner in edit mode. Just apply your transforms again. Q, all transforms. And then we can jump into edit mode. I'll just grab this face here. I'm going to shrink this in. I think it's a little bit too wide for the rail or the frame. Back in the front view, I'll turn snap on again. Maybe not. I'll leave snap off, in fact. And I'm probably going to need a cut at some point to make the data rail extend out. So I'm going to bring this height down just a little bit. This is not the hinges, no, it's the frame. So it's going to go up and around. I make the frame first, so then I can make my door that sits exactly inside the frame. If I made the door to fit this size right now, there's no room for a frame. We can resize our door later. Yep. Well, I'm doing this separately so I can use the mirror modifier, which has already been applied to this module. I'm not going to use it again. We could join them then together, or as you said, we could make interchangeable door frames. I would keep them, even if I joined them together in edit mode, I'd keep them as separate meshes. I wouldn't do like a Boolean or start wiring them together so I can quickly get in and remove them. So this kind of stuff where you're overlapping is actually fine. It won't affect the render or anything. People like to avoid it whenever possible, but sometimes you just can't. And especially if you want to have some modularity. Anyway, let's extrude this up. Oh, and should I turn on snap? It would probably be a good idea. Turn on snap so I can snap to that top grid point. Then we'll use shear again because we want to create that diagonal line without changing the volume. Oh, I got the right handle first time. Hooray. Set the offset to 1. Then I can just move that up just so that the line is intersecting with the corner. We'll add the mirror modifier. Enable clipping. And again, yeah, that's why I reset the transform so that our origin's in the center, the same as it was for our door. So anytime we add something and add mirror, it's going to work perfectly. See, it's fitting perfectly to the other side of the door. And then we can just extrude straight across to join these two together. I've turned clipping on, so they should clip at the center. Extrude, and you'll see it's going off in that strange direction. While I'm in extrude mode, I can press the X axis to lock it to the X. And you see I have this angle. We want to flatten that off first. Nope. This time we can just flatten things using scale. So if I scale this down all 3 axes, you see it's scaling the 3 together. Correctamundo. Let us scale on the X. So I press X. I'm now scaling in on the X. And it's giving us strange values, but again, our operator panel, we just want to scale that to 0 on the X to make it perfectly flat. Pardon? Probably not. But good tip to have, right? So yeah, as you said, we bring them in, they're just going to fuse together anyway, but always good to know. FX0, enter, and then we can move it forward. And then, yeah, another reason not to fuse and join everything together. I haven't decided if I am going to do a skirting board, but if the option is there, if I need it, I can get in and extrude just that bottom face, or yeah, to create that skirting board. And to make sure I'm snapping just to the module size, I would change my snap mode from increment, because we're at kind of funny values, to edge. You can see as I'm extruding, it's giving this little symbol. Oh, little symbol, and it'll snap perfectly to it. So if I wanted to continue with that skirting board thing, I'd probably do that. Get rid of that face, obviously, because I wanted to connect. But I'm not going to do that. So there's my frame. Great. We can go back into object mode and apply that mirror modifier if you're happy. Oh, you could obviously add more to the frame later. Add some loop cuts, give it some bevel. Bring things in or out, whatever. So more detail, of course, could be added. We're just blocking things out. Back in object mode, apply the mirror. And then we could just join that mesh to this module. And the order you select it in matters. This orange line means secondary selection. This yellow line means primary, which means when we join, the orange will join the yellow. Object join. And for the door itself, you could just create the cube within edit mode on this shape. And I still have edge snap on. Yeah. But is there a way to separate objects from edit mode into separate objects? There is. I'm building it in edit mode so I can get it exactly lined up here. I mean, I suppose it probably would snap in object mode too. It's just how I work. So I'm just going to draw a cube right here and snap it to the internal edges. and bring it down. Oh, and it's gone perfectly flat. No good. Ah, yes. There we go. So maybe it would behoove me to have a second window here. TN. There we go. A cube that fills the space. Now, this cube we can separate back into object mode as our door with mesh separate P. Back to object mode. I'll rename this little object modular doorway onto modular door. Now, obviously this is a very, very thick door. We're going to thin it out. So we'll jump back into edit mode. I'm just in bottom view, but same thing. I'm just going to bring this in. Oh, snap. I need my snap. And not to edge. To increment again. We're back. Increment. And it's a very snug door. You probably want to give a tiny little bit of a gap. I'm going to leave that alone. And then hinges and stuff like that, extra detail. But we could give some simple door detail just to get us started. Subdivide by 4. Four faces on each side. Sorry. There it is. Probably is hockey. But that's probably the fastest way. That's the way I use it. Inset faces. Let's bring an inset. Let's say individual. We could do another one. Inset again. This time add a little bit of depth. We have a very basic door. There you go. So back in object mode, just to be on the safe side, apply your transforms. If you wanted to animate this, I would recommend animating it the way you would animate something in Unity. So do not change the origin point is what I'm trying to say. Create an empty. If for your fly through you wanted this door to open, I'd create an empty as a parent and put it where you want the hinge to be. Empty, let's say plain axis. My snap-on is and then just parent the door to the empty. I'll call the empty door hinge. Again, same as with join. That orange line is the secondary, that yellow line is the primary. So if I parent right now, I'm parenting the door to the empty. And then you can animate a door opening. And yeah, other problems, it's clipping through. You probably need to make more of a space. And if you want to avoid any weird rotations, just lock the rotation where you don't want it to rotate. I can lock rotation of this door hinge on the X and Y, so it only rotates on the Z. It's a ghost. Oh, yes. And yeah, quick way to animate a fly through. say you want to move through this level, you don't want to mess around creating guides for the camera and lines, which is also pretty. You parent to a line and it will follow a track, which is pretty handy. But you can just lock your camera view to your view and then turn on auto key and walk yourself through the level. So open view. I'll say lock camera to view. First I'll jump into my camera. Lock camera to view. And now this will orbit and rotate my camera with my view. It won't move it the exact same way, but if let's say I want to walk through this door as it opens up, it opens and I'm walking forward and I walk through it. I can start back here, turn on auto key, move forward in time, move my camera forward, move forward, orbit my camera, move forward, pan my view, see that door is slammed, turn my view, go forward in time some more, turn and see the rest of what's going on. Then I can also select the camera edge and move with G to move things around. Oh, I'm still in snap mode. So G and Z will bring us up and down, which is the global Z. G, Z, and Z again will truck in my camera. I can look at this window, and that's where we're ending up. I'll fly right through the window at the end. G, Z, Z again. I've gone all the way through. I've got my quick little movement as that door is going. I'm orbiting around, I'm looking up, I'm flying through. I call that the simple way because it's the most like walking around with the camera yourself. I just have auto key on. I've got camera to view set. And I'm walking through. So for that other part, the walkthrough animation, you can just walk through yourself. And then you want to leave your camera, disable that, and turn this off. And see, there's my camera actually moving, recording those movements I made. You could also just animate it that way.